Welcome back, Bourbon Barkeep, Curtis.
Noah, good to be here again.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day to all veterans. No better time than now for this bottle, for sure.
Yeah. So this one I saw on the shelf. It's a beautiful bottle. It is from the Tampa Bay area. Shout out. And I was like, I need this. And we've been saving this specific bottle for Veterans Day, really.
Yeah.
Because we started after Memorial Day. So.
Right. We started mid-July, so yeah, it's been a few months. We've been sitting on it. So yeah, like we said, no better time than now for that. This is one of like a series of 3, right?
Yes. Yep. They have 3 of them. Tonight will be the small batch. They have a straight bourbon, which is going to be more of a copper bronzy. The small batch, as you can see, is the gold, and then they have a barrel strength, which is the same mash bill as the small batch. Just barrel strength, that's going to be kind of that silver platinum.
Cool.
Platinum sound better. I don't know if that's the same as silver.
It sounds better.
Yeah.
It sure does. So we'll go platinum.
So this guy is going to be running us, I believe, 68. Is that right? So this is going to be a wheater.
Okay.
So this is going to be, what we got here, a 70% corn, 20% wheat, soft red winter wheat for all the people that grow things out there. Can't remember the name of them. And a 10% barley.
Okay.
So what this is this is coming from the American Freedom Distillery. They do contract distilling out with Middle West Spirits. That's who is actually doing their distilling with these guys' recipe.
Okay.
So it's not something that Middle West is coming up with. It's actually what Horse Soldier wanted it to be. Obviously, waiting that long, being a new distillery, harder to come by some of that juice, if you will. So I got to get into some of the history, and then we'll nose, obviously.
Of course.
But ultimately, the people behind Horse Soldier, the story behind it, awesome story. They made a movie about it with being 12 strong, Chris Hemsworth in it, beautiful man, somehow keeps his shirt on, I believe, most of the time.
It's kind of like, why?
Yeah.
You know, when you look like that, why?
It's bittersweet. So after the 9/11 attacks, U.S. sent in 12 Green Berets. 4 of them started Horse Soldier Distillery.
Cool.
2 other guys joined them, ex-CIA guys. So they got 6 guys involved, but 4 are the original Horse Soldiers, where they rode into Afghanistan, liberated a Taliban city, and the rest is in the movie.
Sure. Won't ruin it.
Still free. So spoiler alert, something good happened for us.
It's a happy ending, yeah.
Yeah. Well, depending on what side you are. But
we're focused on our side here.
That's true.
We're focused on our side, yeah.
Veterans Day. So I still got some other stuff, but I do it better with a drink in my hand.
Sure.
So about that time.
To you guys, like as we said, especially to our veterans, thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Good touch.
Yeah. Pretty traditional.
Yeah, you do have a little bit more grain on the nose.
I get a lot, like more corn too than probably your average.
But I would go with your butterscotch, cherry. I tend to say maybe like a ginger. Like it's kind of a nice, like, you know, you get the pink or white ginger on the side with the sushi, pick it up.
You said this won a couple of awards, correct?
Couple of awards.
Yeah.
Let's see. They got
The San Francisco one, the big one.
They got a gold in 2019 out in New York, then a double gold at the 2022 San Francisco World Spirits.
Oh, okay. So just recently.
And and it was this one, not Horse Soldier. This one actually got those, and then this one also scored 94 points.
Okay.
In some competition. Enough to put it on their website, and as they should.
Right. That's something you got to push out to the people. Easy to vote for sure, given the history and the origins of the brand.
That's true.
Pretty easy to vote for. All right, I'm going.
Do it. Little bit of alcohol on the nose, with it being a lower proof. I think we said it was.
Did we mention proof?
I don't think so. I believe it's 95. Let's
Okay.
see what we got going on here.
I will say it
95, yeah.
definitely tastes a little more mellow in the sense that, it's nowhere near some of the other stuff we've done recently. Like, you definitely know it's not, 100, 110 proof.
Yeah, the more it kind of sits here, I don't know if it's the warming the glass. You get a little more oak on the nose. some of the alcohol is starting to come up, which is a little odd because usually it goes the reverse way.
Right.
But it does have kind of a nice burn. I took a very small sip, but I still kind of feel it right in the upper esophagus.
The finish is pretty impressive considering, like I said, it doesn't taste hot, but like the finish sticks around.
So it's interesting. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due. So we obviously try and do some research. Not a lot of places knew how long this was actually aged. It's non-age stated, so rightfully so. But Master Your Glass did a phenomenal interview with Will Summers, who is involved with Horse Soldier. He was one of the 12.
Okay.
He actually said, Will Summers, that is, said that this was aged 6 to 8 years.
And you said this was no age statement on the bottle, but
no age statement. I don't know. I mean, it tastes a little young to where it has that young oak to where it's
I would have guessed 4.
Little tight.
If you were to make me pick a number, I would have guessed probably 4.
The color is lighter. The bottle, I think, has it a little deceiving when it comes to the color. So when you get into the glass, it's more honey. So 6 to 8, I'm a little surprised at because it definitely has some youth to it.
Sure.
But Will would know. I mean, he's involved in the process. The small batch is actually 7 to 8 barrels. So this is a pretty exclusive bottling, if you will.
So that's yearly?
I guess it's when they need it, technically.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's true.
So I don't think we've said any tasting notes at this point, have we?
We did our nose a little bit, but
Give the people some tasting ones.
yeah, like I said, I still get the corn. And like we discussed with the nose, it's pretty traditional. Now you're getting your cherry, like you said. There's a little bit of spice there. I still get quite a bit of brown sugar, but it's pretty traditional, you know.
Yeah, I go up. I don't get the richness of the brown sugar on my side. I get more of that caramel, maybe even butterscotch. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the bottle a little bit because not only was the 12 Strong movie absolutely incredible, the story behind it, with it being real, the bottle itself has its own story. So when they came back after kicking the Taliban's ass, they came back and actually had a monument. It was the America's Response Monument at Ground Zero.
Okay.
And what that monument looks like is the emblem on the front of the bottle.
The horse and shoulder, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully you throw up like a JPEG or something. But
I can do that.
It's really cool looking. When they were actually dedicating that monument to the 12, they actually gave them an I-beam from the World Trade Center.
Okay.
So one of the Twin Towers, so what they essentially did was they took it back, melted it down, and made it so it was reforged to do the glass of the bottle.
So every glass is stamped with that I-beam. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Pretty impressed overall, and then cheers to the American Freedom Distillery for what they're putting out and their distribution obviously getting cranked up.
Sure.
All right,
You want grade?
scoring time.
Cool. All right. So you got your scores, I got my scores.
Well, it's tough because for the people that want to buy the bottle, I feel like we kind of skimmed over the flavor. Like we gave some notes, but ultimately we dive a little deeper sometimes. But ultimately what's going on behind the scenes of this was just, it was too cool with the Veterans Day. Like I couldn't get enough of what they were doing.
Especially for this day in particular, the history, the origins of the brand itself, the story is more important, I think, than, hey, what 7 notes did you get for sure?
Yeah.
So I'm glad we spent some time on that.
So let's give the people what they kind of came here for when it comes to the ratings. Let's dive into that to make sure either people aren't wasting their money or it's something that they need to snag.
Cool. So we have 4 categories. If you've watched us before, you know what they are. Start with senses. This is by far the heaviest weighted category, as you'd expect. That's kind of an all-encompassing nose, palate, mouthfeel, if you will. Then we have it factor, and this kind of, as we discussed, is the history of the brand, how they came to be. Is there kind of a cool wrinkle, like we did with 3 Chord? If you watch our latest episode, Pat Benatar and her husband.
Come on, give Neil some credit, man.
What? See, the problem is I couldn't remember his name. That's the entire time I'm just thinking, this is sick. This is Pat Benatar as relation to this. But And then we have hug, which is another word for finish. How does the bourbon wrap up? And then last but not least, especially not least, bang for the buck. So this is when we discuss the actual MSRP price of the bottle. And this is kind of what gives the little guys, the $30, $40 bourbons, a chance to excel against your, $100, $200 bottles. This is kind of where we bring in price and adjust accordingly if something's $200.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so senses, I'll start. I want middle of the road, 50.
Okay.
Like I said, easy drinking, enjoyable, but extremely traditional. Like I said, I couldn't really pick out anything even remotely unique about the nose or the palate. Like it's just an American bourbon,
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't dock it. 50 is our perfect middle of the road. If something's perfectly average, it's going to be a 50. And that's where I went with this. So
I gave it slight credit at 57.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It drinks a little bit more like a whiskey than a bourbon, and I mean that in terms of typically I go bourbon with your brown sugars, which you kind of picked up a little more on.
yeah, it's a little sweeter to me than I think it was to you.
Yeah, I went a little more on the lighter sweetness side with the butterscotch to where that's just less deep to me.
Sure.
But 57, I'll give it some credit. It's very smooth. You could pick out some fun things to wear, but not overly complex, what you were talking about. But the first time I think I picked out ginger. I will recommend this more in the spring, summer, which I always appreciate when someone says, hey, this probably isn't something you want in the summer. This is one that I would definitely have on the back.
Sure.
Back deck.
85 degrees.
On Memorial Day, 4th of July.
Got the grill going.
Yeah, I want to pour something for America.
Sure.
This is it.
Agree. All right. So next, as we said, it factor. This is where this bottle makes up a ton of ground.
Absolutely.
And this is probably the best it factor that we've had.
Absolutely.
So I'm going 85.
I really was torn. I went 88.
Okay.
Like everything about it is really cool, and I'm really proud to have it. And that's what it factors is.
Right.
And when it comes to the algorithm, we do weight it low because some of it is mood as well.
Sure. All right, Hug, we touched on this a little bit with the finish. Good, not great.
Yeah.
I went with 60, so slightly above average with that 60. You do get more than I think I was anticipating given on how it tastes. It's extremely light tasting, so like the fact that it did kind of continue a little bit, like I was a little bit surprised by that, so I went 60.
I went 58.
Okay.
I wanted to go at probably 61, 62 for the same reason. That 95 you don't typically get.
Sure.
It was nice. It didn't go long like your Bookers. But yeah, the Hug is good. We've definitely had a lot worse. And if I was pouring this in July, I probably wouldn't want it that much longer. But at 58, I enjoy a very long winter Hug.
Yeah, you get the Kentucky. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. All right, and then last, as I said, but certainly not least, this is the second highest weighted category. Yeah. Because it means extremely important. As we've discussed before, we are on the cheaper side in terms of like, do we splurge on this? Do we not?
Yeah.
Like generally, price is a pretty large factor for us. So with this being 68 MSRP, it hurts a little bit.
It definitely does.
It definitely does not taste like a $70 bottle. So I want 42. So, I mean, more than just a touch below average, but I'm not going to kill it with it.
Yeah.
I want 42.
My heart's a little bit involved, so I just went easy 50 to where it gets no credit. Now, if I would want it on my shelf, even if it's not that I don't like it, to be very clear, it's even if you were just like, this is average, I think it's something that someone would really want to taste. It's something that's beautiful on your shelf.
So the it factor is kind of bleeding into this for you.
When I run out, I would rebuy it. Maybe I would do the barrel strength just to try and change it up. That's the only one I haven't had yet. I would want one of these on my shelf all the time to where that would be my highly average. I would rebuy you.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, if you gave me a blank price tag and said, hey, this is this bourbon you're going to taste it, and then try to price it accordingly, it would not be 68.
It wouldn't be 68. I would agree.
Okay.
So I'm going to go highly average.
That's fine.
I can't. I want to dock it. I can't dock it, and I don't know if it's my heart involved. But knowing that I will rebuy it at the price, and knowing what bourbon prices have done.
Sure. All right. Well, we're going to total these up for our final scores and be right back. Okay. So we've made our calculations.
Yeah.
We have done the math, and it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
My final score out of 100 was 53.4. So just right around, it's an average bourbon. And the bang for the buck definitely did hurt it for me. The fact that it's close to $70 and not, I mean, to me that tastes like probably a $45, $50 bottle.
The bang for the buck, not super. I mean, you got to pay for the metal on the front.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Could be real gold. I don't know.
If that's the case, then I probably will adjust my scores. Sure. But yeah, you were a little higher than me. You were a little more generous than me with the 58, something, 58.8, something like that.
Yeah.
But still pretty middle of the pack for you as well. But like we said, it's a very easy drinking, and it's not like it's not enjoyable. It's an enjoyable bourbon.
Very easy drinking, and it's something that I'm proud to buy and support.
Of course.
Which helps.
Of course.
I mean, having some of these other bottles over here to where you have no say in, like I would much rather support a veteran.
Yeah.
Like I would a small business as well.
Right. So. Like you need something to hang your hat on, and they certainly have something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. We gonna move into our final segment here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So locks of the week. This was our second week exclusively on Patreon. Did not have the same success as I had week one, just with a 2 and 3 weeks, so it wasn't disastrous or anything like that. We still have a winning record on Patreon, excuse me. Yeah, not much to talk about. Had a couple of kind of, losses that were over pretty quick. And then sitting here Sunday night watching the start of the Bills-Bengals game, I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to go 3-2. The Bills-Bengals had 3 touchdowns in like the first 10 minutes. We had over 47.5. I'm like, hell yeah, there's 21 points in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then offenses went cold. Finished 24-18, so we were a touchdown away. But
just good adjustments at halftime.
So yeah, 2 and 3. Was hoping to be 3 and 2 and had a good start in that Bills-Bengals game on Sunday night, but that is what it is. I have a play out already this week. Expect to have a few more. Looking forward to week 3 on Patreon, man. I know you want to go ahead, sorry.
No, doing big things up there. I mean, we got giveaways.
Sure.
We got the 3 chords trivia that has not been answered.
Nope. There's a link behind us to see our previous video. And in that video, we have a trivia question where if you answer that first in the comments correctly, you'll get a 2-ounce pour of that 3-quart bourbon for you to try for free. You can pivot to a separate bourbon that we've tried.
Yeah. So if Horse Soldier is something that you want to drop $68 for, but you want to taste and see if it is worth $68, this could be one amongst a few others that you can just email us and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So yeah, if you answer that correctly first in the comments on that video, you get a 2-ounce pour of your choice, and there's that. So
yeah, we got 2 tiers. We won't dive too much into it. We've already talked about how we want to be a generous channel, but ultimately our rankings are up there, your bets are up there, and then you'll be eligible for giveaways in certain tiers. So take a look. It's up there. We're having fun. Like, subscribe so you know when we're putting out some stuff. We have some Thanksgiving blinds we're going to be doing.
Excited.
We have best gifts coming up for our Black Friday.
Very excited for that episode.
That will be really fun. Because I don't know your list and you don't know my list.
That's right. Well, we need to, maybe we both give our lists to your wife and make sure that we don't have any conflictions.
Maybe.
So, conflictions?
We'll go with it.
Wow, that sounded weird off the tongue. Anyway,
Sure did.
yeah, maybe we'll have a third party, make sure we don't have the same bottles. But yeah, so looking forward to a couple of fun episodes coming up for sure.
Yeah. I won't go into December because you got to subscribe so you can figure out what's coming.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe. Having fun with it. Happy Veterans Day to you all. Thank you for your service.
Free to make free.
Free to make free. Cheers, guys.